Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. You are smart. You have made us go, and we are getting stronger and more powerful every day. I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Cogginson. Yes, you were smart to press that button to make the video go, but you're not smart to press pause. Only one button is known by you, the smart people of the Enterprise. All you thousands of enterprises out there watching us right now.
We are here to talk today about the Pakleds, specifically the Pakleds that are in episode 10, the season finale of season 1 of Lower Decks. They have always been kind of a joke, even here on Trekyards. We talk about, you are smart, you will make us go. We make a lot of Pakled jokes over the last 6 years, and it's brought up here as well that they're kind of a joke, aren't they? But they're not. They're actually terrifying, considering they've assimilated a lot of technology. They're kind of like the Borg at this point. And because they're so dumb, or not smart, I don't want to call them dumb.
Yeah, not smart. That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah, if because they're so not smart, they're actually kind of more terrifying than even the most cunning of villains, because they just don't know any better. So anyway, let's talk about their warship. Because
Yes.
there was a warship.
I mean,
or
it's
3 of them, actually.
And they're actually all different, which again shows attention to
Yes.
detail. Yeah, this is a really unique twist and shows the absolute love for the canon that Mike McMahon shows. And if you want an example of on the pulse, so on the pulse that none of us would have thought of it, but if you do it really well, not to say the warship's like a great design or anything, but just the idea of the Pakleds coming in. And what's doubly great about it, one links to me, one links to you. First of all, as soon as they walked in, I knew that forward head as a classic TNG reuse ship. I didn't clock as the Pakled ship because they use it literally 15 to 16 times, but it is literally the Pakled ship, which if you are that knowledgeable, you'll know instantly Pakled. But it's such a clever move. But also, Stuart, this ship feels like a Voltron. You called out in our potentially this time on. It feels like stuff put together with literally a head that's like attached. I mean, you called that, and it does kind of have that feel, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It has a very bird-like look to it.
Yeah.
Just
A crow that's feasting.
Yeah, the original Pakled ship is the beak and the head. Then we get wings, and actually we got a nice breakdown on the view screen of different elements that are being pointed to, and you can see some Romulan Derdex warp nacelles there.
All modified, obviously, but yes, the baseline of.
Yeah, Klingon. Well, it looks like a retro bird of prey. Tops engineering hull section. But yeah, there's a bunch of different things here, and damn, the Pakleds are scary now, especially with their armor, eh? But anyway, they want the pieces of the ships to their pieces of the ship.
Yeah, I mean, what we see in TNG was that they were portrayed as a non-threat. They're just, distressful, but they had a Romulan shield system and weapons. Like and to take out a Romulan is quite an ordeal. So we know they are capable in their own way. And so suddenly this is 30 years later. It's a long time. TNG season 2, I believe, Samaritan Snare. It's a long time. And these are very impressive. And yes, I love this breakdown. I mean, they not only give us the look, audience, this is who they are, because you might not have seen TNG, but also go so far and be really detailed. I mean, yes, the Klingon disruptors are recognizable. I mean, I've built them in 3D. I've had them built in 3D, so obviously I know them quite well, but that's fine. The Romulan wings aren't literally it wasn't literally the Derdex wings, or isn't. I mean, you can see a Ferengi. What part of Ferengi is that? No clue. But that's not the point. It's the idea that the tech is cannibalized. It doesn't need to be literally a hybrid of a Derdex wing on a Decora body on a, you know what I mean? I'm glad the way they went for actually design, because they would rip stuff out to assemble. So I thought that was incredibly smart. They did make it go. Well done them. And even at the end, we'll go back to that in a minute, but 3 appear and they are all different. And talk about attention to detail. I mean, my goodness, well done them. But it is an opposing ship. And the fact is, they do successfully destroy a Cali, as Riker said, California class. I mean, really, they destroy themselves, but they won the battle instantly. And this other ship, they won instantly, pretty much, with grappling hooks that can go through shields. I guess that's the impetus, because the shields weren't down. They were low, but they weren't down. And a lot of weapons fire that can be fired. I mean, this thing is a brute force most ships aren't designed for more manual combat. It's like the Borg aren't used to knives, so it's a slight advantage. What do you think of their approach of phasering and then using grappling arms and all that jazz?
I thought the grappling arms were very interesting, and even the lower part of the ship being like a claw attachment or almost like a dry dock that was assimilated looked quite menacing. But the claws were quite effective. We did see them latch onto the Cerritos, and actually when the other ships came in and they were all kind of pulling, I was wondering how the ship was going to get out of that. And so it is quite terrifying technology. I love that some of the parts are marked as unknown, because I don't think we've seen grappling claws specifically like that before.
It reminded me of the Vidians, of their kind of way they grappled, very sort of vicious approach. And we definitely got the classic caveat of the struts. The strut got annihilated instantly, pretty much. Because, it is a weak spot, and I wouldn't be surprised if next season we actually have stronger struts with, no cutout, because clearly, and Mike said to us in an interview that, well, if you don't need the metal there, why use the mass? Well, maybe if it had been solid, it wouldn't have been crushed. And I will call out, it reminds me that the basic design, there's a picture in the notes here of a Raider ship from the animated series. Well, obviously not identical, vibe-wise. It gives me distinct pause for thought, and we know how much they love the animated series. What do you think about that?
Well, when the shape first came in, the shape of the ship, it reminded me of something. I thought it reminded me more of like a winged defender, one of the Romulan ships from FASA.
Also such,
Yeah. But then when you said the ship from the animated series, I was like, yes, you're absolutely right. Because instantly I locked onto that after you said it. So I'm glad you noticed that, because I'm surprised I didn't, to be fair. I got the definitely Romulan FASA vibes from it from when I first saw it. But it'd be interesting if those were one of the people that, or the races that were assimilated. I don't want to say assimilated because that's the Borg thing.
Scavenged.
Or scavenged. There's a good one. Yeah. Because the design is so similar. It's almost like visually, you're supposed to think that when you see it, So
it makes sense. They are Raiders. These are Raiders. There's a nice visual parallel here. What do you think about how, and also about the primary ship we see, of how kitbashed the wrong word, and even scavenged, of how integrated it does or doesn't feel? Like, what do you think of the balance there of it being one big piece and stuff attached, or actually design? Where do you side on that?
It does feel very much thrown together and kitbashy. I was actually surprised that all three ships had a uniform kind of look to them. It's like they specifically go out looking for stuff to acquire and then send everybody else to the same area, but they don't quite do it the same way. It's not like they're building these ships in a dry dock facility brand new like this. They're going out. You can see the original Pakled ship on the front of every one of these, and it's unaltered. You would assume that if they're attaching stuff to their ship would be in the center, not necessarily at the front. So I would have actually preferred to see more different designs. Some with that at the front, some with that at the top, some maybe with the original Pakled ship in the middle. But that being said, it's a unified fleet. It definitely looks like the same. They all look Pakled. And actually the shot with three of them there, the one has very much a closed-in dry dock facility at the bottom, or like a hangar bay, as opposed to like the other claw-like ones. So it feels very kitbashy, and yet like a unified fleet. It's really weird. It's a weird mix of both.
So would you say a success?
Is this the new Pakled aesthetic though? Like, I don't know.
Well, of these guys, I don't think the Pakleds are a unified culture. I don't think they're capable of that. So I think this is like a branch. This is a set of them. The most successful set. Let's be honest.
This is a sect. This is like the Kazon. They're starting to form the sects.
But yeah, now we're on the three pictures. I think it's clear what is the ship and what is the what Packers have scavenged, because you can see it's got the same shoulder pieces, it's got the same front, it's got the same connector, but once you go past those 3-4 pieces, I mean, the shoulder, the top bits are different, the side bits are different, the wings are different, the bottom's different. So there is a distinct difference in the pieces, and what the engines look like, where they come from. I mean, they've definitely put a lot of effort into it looking and feeling different, while still having what you can understand is the basic ship. I mean, there's a shot of them at the top, and boy, that ship to the top left. I mean, those engines are so many. Like, can I get JJ vibes with them? How cylindrical and whatnot they are. I wouldn't be surprised if they, accidentally got a Kelvin ship at some point. Alternate wheels travel and all that.
One thing I'm noticing with these pictures is how everything's attached together. It's all like bound up with like wire or cables almost.
Yeah, actually,
all of them kind of have it. Like they're just
literally
strapped on. They're not really integrated in any real refined way. But it's all symmetrical, which is odd. I didn't expect them to be symmetrical. You would think more asymmetric with the way they're scavenging stuff.
I mean, one of them isn't exactly asymmetrical, but yeah, you're right. They're mostly symmetrical. How do the Packers go? Really, again, this is the problem. We only saw one ship, one time, and then obviously some guest appearances in other episodes. It's kind of hard to say what they did and didn't do, but they definitely did some cool stuff and achieved some, just to build these. I mean, these aren't. Although, well, I should say, I don't know what size though. I know the Cerritos is quite small compared to the D, but they're definitely smaller than anything that big. They're more bulky, obviously, but they're not like massive. I'm glad they did. Well, this is the advantage of they didn't go J.J. Abrams with the Cerritos, as in upscale for Discovery, and so therefore you can have a big feeling ship like these monsters, which are actually smaller than most ships we see. Whereas the Cerritos was because Discovery, the size of the Sovereign. Now these ships would be the size of a Doderidex. You'd be like, no, I don't buy that. But the fact that these are probably only the size of, whatever, works for me a lot better.
The dry docky nature of the bottom, actually I never really realized it, but yeah, they pull the ships in with the claws and then disassemble them in there with the cutting beams and stuff.
Pretty gruesome, wasn't it?
And those cutting beams, they look familiar. I don't know if we've seen them before, but the way they, I don't know, they remind me of something, which I can't quite put my finger on. So if you guys know, please put it in the comments.
What a genius move to bring them back, and a risky move, but I think they achieved it flawlessly for all intents and purposes. And I'm excited to see where they go next. Because if Mike McMahon can make the Pakleds
scary,
what does that tell you about his skill level? And he did write this one, so that is absolutely on him. So well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so guys, let us know in the comments what you think, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you like the video, make sure you click the notification bell icon to all. It's very important. We do a lot of great content and breakdowns like this, and we look forward to you guys joining the tribe, if you will, the Trekyards tribe, and becoming a Trekyardian. You can join the channel at the rank of Commander, Captain, or Admiral, and there's other ways to help us out as well.
And as we know, obviously, the more you do, the more we go. But the more of you that give us pieces of money, we can make our Trekyards bigger, stronger, more plasma cannons. All that money will go towards... I guarantee if one of you donates $100 on Patreon, we will buy more plasma cannons. There you go. But yes, support us if you can. All this content is free for you to enjoy, discuss, theorize, and have a good debate in the comment section. So donate to us if you can. PayPal, Patreon, join the YouTube channel, or Super Chat, all great ways. And those live chats especially, join in, say hey, subscribe if you can, but just part of the conversation does always energize us. We love being part of this community and giving our thoughts, comments, analyzations, and no one does these sorts of breakdowns. I mean, not a single other YouTuber is going to do a detailed breakdown of the Pakled ship. Why would they? But of course, Trekyards will, and we're very proud of that. So if you keep enjoying, then do give.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I am Captain Foley.
And I am Chronicles. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.